And now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm going to explain how to get from a quarter note to a whole note by adding quarter notes using the magic linking rings. Now, we have here a ta, or a quarter note. It is nice, it is round, it lasts one beat, and it is also a very solid ring. You know, no big deal. Okay, and now I have this other ta that is also round and solid and, a ring. And so we have two tas that are next to each other. Each of them take up one beat. When we put them next to each other, we say that they are ta, ta. And together, ta and ta equal 2 beats. Even though they're 1 beat each, they make 2 beats. Well, what happens when I put them together? Well, when I put them together, they become one note that lasts 2 beats long. And this note is called a half note. And when we say that it's called a ta-ah, like 2 tas put together. Alright, now, what do you think is going to happen when we put a third note, third quarter note onto our half note? Well, it's going to add one more beat. Okay, so we have our half note here, and we're going to add this one more ta to our, sorry, I dropped my other one. Okay, so now we're going to add another ta to our ta-ah, and we're going to say 1, 2, 3. That these notes go together, and so they are 3 beats long. Okay, now this one is the dotted quarter note, or the dotted half note, which is 3 beats long. What's the difference between this one and that one? Well, the only real difference, right, is this little dot. So what does that dot mean? Does it just mean that we just add a beat, or what? Does anybody remember? Okay, I'll tell you. What the dot means is that you take half the value of the note and you add it. So when we had, remember back when we had only 2 rings on here? Well, half of the 2 beats for the half note, for this half note right here, half of 2 is 1, and so we're going to add 1 more to our 2 beats, which makes 3 beats. Now we're going to add, and that's what the dot means, that you add half the value of the note to the note. Okay, now we have our 4th quarter note, our 4th ta, and when we put it together, we're going to finally get a whole note, so that we can see that the whole note is equal to 4 tas put together. It lasts 4 beats. Now remember, we don't say ta, 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 ta. No, we say ta, ah, 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 because it is the same note. So can you all say ta, ah, ah with me as I magically go up through each of these rings and then finally link it on? Okay, ready? And go ta, ah, ah, ah. And this is a whole note. Okay, so the magic linking rings trick is sort of complicated, meaning that you can know how to do it within 2 minutes or maybe 3 minutes, but it takes practice to make sure that you can link and unlink the rings without having any sort of hiccups like 1, 2, 3. Oh no, I didn't do it because I didn't do it correctly. And linking rings is something that you're going to have to buy online. I bought mine for less than $10. No, they come in a box like this. They're called Chinese linking rings, so if you're Googling it, Google Chinese linking rings. And they come with lovely instructions like this. that help you know how to do it. And so if you have not bought these rings and you have not played around with them, you should probably stop watching my video right now, because you might get lost in what I'm going to say, because I'm not going to explain how to link one ring to another ring. I'm just going to explain how I take the instructions from the box and make it into my own magical repertoire that explains a whole note, because this box doesn't explain how to do a whole note. Okay. First thing is that magic ring sets usually come in sets of 8 rings, not just the 4 that you saw. And I think that it's important to hide the 4 extra rings from the students, so that when you're in class and you're talking about how many beats are in a whole note, you aren't being pestered by everybody to say, oh, put the 6th one on, and the 7th one on, and the 8th one on. You can just stop at 4 and be done with it. And also, you only need to show them 4 rings to do a whole note. And so anything beyond 4 beats is not going to be part of a lesson. I mean, it could be something cool, so you could do more if you wanted to show your kids something, but I can't really fit it into a lesson, so I never do it. Okay, so out of this box of 8 rings, you actually don't need one of them. You know, you can just throw it away. It just rolled back there. You don't actually need it for the trick, but the other 7 rings you do need. Okay, so the set of 3 rings that are put together, I hide at the beginning of the trick. I put them in my special magical box that the students can't see into, which is down here, to use them later. Alright, and then I start out with the 2 links are on my arm, and the 1 normal link and the key are in my hands, and I talk about how they're 2 tas, like you saw, and I put them together and I say ta-da, because I think that ta-da sounds a lot like ta-ta, and it's just a punny thing that I really like. Okay, and then one thing that you guys need to do that I forgot to do during this video was before you put these back onto your wrist, you need to subtly unlink them to have the key ready to relink again. So these 2 are unlinked right now, and I just slid these other 2 linked ones onto my hand. And I put them all in my hand so that when I come over here to the board and I talk, I can switch rings without you guys being too suspicious. Okay, so now in my left hand are the 2 linking rings, and in my right hand I have 1 normal ring, which I'll just put back on my wrist, and the key ring. And then I link them together, like that. And once again, unlink it before you put these down so that the key ring is ready to link to the set of 3. Now, this is where I switch rings. So I have these rings, the key ring is unlinked, and I put them down into my magic box. Meanwhile, I'm talking about what the dot means on the rhythm, and I try to explain it, and I pretend like I have to use my hands so I can't hold the rings at the same time. And then I go back into my box, and I pick out the set of 3 rings that are already linked together, and also my key ring. And those other 3 rings that I've been using previously are still down in the box where nobody can see. Alright, and then I just finally take my last one and I go, oh look, a whole note. So yeah, I would really encourage you to buy these. I think they're really fun. They're very visual. The kids love them. It will keep their attention, and hopefully they will remember forever the time that their teacher showed them how 4 linking rings were like a whole note. So let me know how it goes. Good luck with your class, and please leave a comment.